Everybody, old school comic reviews. Okay, this is well, I'm way late to the party on this one. This is Walking Dead, which is a series created by Robert Kirkman. Um, it's been around for a few years. It's gotten lots of great reviews, and I'm sure if people don't know about the comic book, you're familiar with the television show that debuted recently. I guess it got some of the highest cable ratings for a new show ever, or something like that. Um, I've not seen a television show, and like I said, I'm just now getting around to the comic. Like I said, I know it's gotten lots of good reviews over the last few years, and I always meaning to like pick up a random issue or two, and I said maybe I'll get it next time, maybe I'll never get it next, maybe I'll get it next time, and I just never got around to it. I finally did get around to it after being urged to read it by another YouTuber named Redfield1901, and it just I mean, he brought it up like, a couple months ago, and I just, and I got the comic, and I just never read it, and I just finally got around to finishing it. So anyway, Robert Kirkman, if people don't know, is a pretty popular comic book writer right now. He's done this, of course. He's did the Invisibles, or not the Invisibles, Invincible, which is a pretty good superhero comic. I haven't read every issue, but the ones have read are actually pretty good. I think he did another comic called Astonishing Wolfman. I haven't read any of those, and I think he did some issues of he did a run, I should say, of Ultimate X-Men, and the few issues I've read of that weren't that. I mean, they weren't terrible, but that's kind of when I think a lot of people think that comics started getting kind of like in that mass stage. But anyway, Walking Dead is basically the tale of Rick. Rick was and I should mention the art. The art here is by Tony Moore in the first volume, and then another artist took over not very long after that. Basically, the story is about Rick. Rick is a police officer. He gets shot and he goes into a coma, and when he comes out of the coma, he finds out that though there's been, the zombie apocalypse, the world has been taken over by zombies. And it's basically him trying to find out what happened and where are other people at, and finding other humans and finding out, how to survive. This is a really good comic. Kirkman has a really tight script here. The pacing is good. And what's really interesting here is, even though it's kind of a horror comic, it's not really focused on the chills and the spills and the gore and stuff like that. It's really a story about the relationships between the survivors. You have Rick. Rick finds out that there's a settlement of humans still living there. They have their camp or whatever. And there's just, various people, various different, characters, and, people with their various personalities and ambitions and so on and so forth, as they try to, deal with what's happening with them. Should they go this way? Should they go that way? Should they leave? Should they stay put? These people over here have their relationship and back and forth. These other people have this and that going on. Rick finds out that his wife and son are there at the camp, and one conflict, without giving too much away, comes up that his ex-partner is part of the camp, and you see how maybe his ex-partner kind of had eyes for his wife, but then now he's back, and this causes other conflict. So it's a really, really interesting comic, and it takes an approach that I think a lot of other writers and artists, would have, made the B story or the C story and made that the main story, and then have it punctuated by, shocks and chills and things like that. I don't know, that's basically all I have to say. Like I said, the art is really good. It's in black and white, but you have, it's really clean, it's really crisp. Everything is laid out pretty well, so it's pretty easy to tell what's going on. I like the little tonal variations, that is, with the blacks and the whites and the grays and the shading and stuff like that. So it's a really good comic. Like I said, I know a lot of people are already into it, and I'm coming late to the party, but there. I read it, and that's what I think of it. Okay, anyway, thanks a lot for listening, and you have a good one.